Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ken Kester from IAVI. I'm the vice chair of the Forum on Microbial Threats, and on behalf of our chair, Dr. Peter Daszak, as well as the Board on Global Health here at the National Academies, I want to welcome you to our Forum on Microbial Threats workshop, focusing on applying COVID-19 R&D to future epidemics. For those of you who are not familiar with the forum, I'll just give you a quick little background to sort of frame it in the context of what we hope to accomplish over the next day or so. The forum was established to provide a structured opportunity for stakeholder discussion and scrutiny of critical and possibly contentious scientific and policy issues of shared concern related to research on and the prevention, detection, and management of infectious diseases and dangerous pathogens. The forum is uniquely positioned to stimulate original thinking about new as well as long-standing problems in these areas due to the unofficial nature of its deliberations coupled with the neutrality of the National Academies. The strength of the forum's activities rests in the diversity of its expert membership and the commitment of its individual members to participate in and contribute to these activities on a regular and continuing basis. And it's in this context that we have this workshop today. I'm going to give a couple little sort of program notes before we get started. For all presenters, all the sessions are being recorded and ultimately will be posted online. When we have questions and answers, please, those asking questions, state your name and affiliation when asking questions. It'll be important, again, for people speaking to speak into the mic. And for virtual presenters, please confirm that you can hear and see slides. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to Dr. John Heinrichs, the co-chair of the planning committee for this workshop, who will make some introductory remarks. John.
Thank you, Kent. Welcome, everyone. On behalf of myself and Tim Burgess, the other co-chair of this workshop, I'd like to welcome you to this hybrid in-person and virtual meeting. The meeting today is applying lessons learned from COVID-19 research and development to future epidemics. It's convened by the Forum on Microbial Threats. My name is John Heinrichs. I am the head of Global Innovation and Emerging Sciences at Sanofi in Swiftwater, Pennsylvania. And as I said, I'm also the co-chair of this particular workshop. Today and tomorrow, we're going to be convening this session via Zoom and in person here at the Keck Center. And I welcome all of you who are able to make this trek in person. It's nice to be back together again. As Kent mentioned, both days of the workshop will be recorded, and the recording will be posted on the event page with access for everyone after the conclusion of the workshop. As an outcome of this workshop, the National Academies will also publish a proceedings that serves as a factual account of what was presented and discussed during the workshop. The proceedings is anticipated for release in mid-2023 and will be available for public access. Importantly, by consenting to be recorded, either on Zoom or in person here in the room, you are also granting permission for the recording to be posted for public access and potentially used in the proceedings. If you are watching this as a webcast, you'll note that there is a Q&A box where you can post in real time any questions or comments that you have. But this Q&A box will not be available if you're watching on the full screen version. I'd like to acknowledge the support of the workshop through the pooled funds from the Forum on Microbial Threats sponsors. We also appreciate the insights and support from forum members. Some of them are also serving on the planning committee for this workshop, and Tim and I are very grateful for their contributions, and I'd like to acknowledge them now. As with all forum activities, there is a committee of subject matter experts serving in a volunteer capacity that help to provide intellectual leadership in shaping this workshop. Many of them will also be chairing and moderating sessions throughout the next day and a half. The motivation behind convening this workshop is to examine what we have learned from COVID-19 in terms of scientific research, and we're going to focus on the research piece in this workshop, both in biomedical research, but also broadening engagement through social behavior research and with public health. For the workshop, we have brought together researchers and practitioners from industry and academic research, public health, science communications, and financial and leadership support for these efforts. Today, we'll focus on the biomedical research aspect within the U.S. and on a global scale, identifying lessons that we learned or should have learned from COVID-19 that can be applied to future outbreaks, such as the Mpox outbreak that we're seeing now. So with that, without further ado, I will turn this over to Janet to introduce our keynote speaker. So, Janet.